This is Keith Singer with our next segment of Making a Difference. Today we have a special guest with us. Hello to Jeff Conine. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Great. Thank you for being here. For those of you who don't know Jeff, he's known to Miami baseball fans as Mr. Marlin. He was an all-star baseball player and a two-time World Series champion with the Miami Marlins. But just as importantly, Jeff and his wife Cindy have devoted significant time and effort to supporting Joe DiMaggio's Children's Hospital. So Jeff, how is it that you became involved with that cause?
Well, when we first came down here to South Florida, it was a brand new team, and we were in a brand new area. So my wife and I thought it important to get involved with a local charity, and our only stipulation was it had to do with kids.
Right.
One of my former teammates, Orestes Estrade, took me to a luncheon at the Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital, and I just so happened to meet Joe DiMaggio, and Tommy Lasorda was in town at the luncheon, and I immediately became not only interested in getting involved with the Children's Hospital, but the organization of people there at the Children's Hospital is just unbelievable, from the doctors to the nurses to the administrative people. It's just a really family-type atmosphere that was very drawing to us and really wanted us to get involved.
It is a great hospital. All three of my kids were born there. For those of you who don't know, Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital ensures the ongoing availability of safe, quality, cost-effective, patient and family-centered care regardless of one's ability to pay. I think each year they provide programs and services to over 100,000 children in South Florida. So it is a really, really great hospital. And I know that a lot of times, unfortunately, when your kids are sick and they're getting treated, the family has to stay in the area while the treatment's happening. And to that extent, I understand there is Conine's Clubhouse. So tell us a little bit about Conine's Clubhouse.
Yeah, the Conine Clubhouse is a facility right next to the Children's Hospital. It's a 23-room facility that the families of the children that are being treated at the Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital can stay free of charge. And, it's a home away from home for families, even if it's local. There
Right.
might be you can't put a price on the availability of being next to your child when he's being treated for anything. We've had people be there overnight for a simple procedure, and we've had a young boy just went home with a heart transplant, and the mom had to stay in the clubhouse for 8 months.
Right.
So it's an invaluable thing, and I get people come up to us all the time, just say thanks for providing something that is so convenient and it's so important to them. So it's a labor of love for us, and we've been doing it for a long time.
Was it initially called the Conine Clubhouse, or did they have before?
It was initially called the Visitors Clubhouse with the baseball theme, and we do a golf tournament every year, and the proceeds for that golf tournament operate the Conine Clubhouse. So after a number of years, they bestowed the honor upon us, renaming it the Conine Clubhouse.
How much have they raised over the years for the?
I think we're coming up on our 21st year of the golf tournament. After 20 years, we're about $4.5 million we've raised.
That's incredible. The Conine All-Star Golf Classic, it's Monday, January 19th at the Diplomat Golf and Tennis Club, actually 2 minutes from where I live. Can you still register to play?
Unfortunately, we're sold out.
Sold out? Okay.
That's the great thing about our tournament, which is, I think, unique in charity tournaments. When we first started this thing, a 5 to 6 year life expectancy is what they would have been happy with. But here we are selling out in our 21st year. And the Diplomat's a new course that we're going to this year. We've been at Emerald Hills for 20, but now we're at a new course. The facility's unbelievable, and we're looking forward to another great year.
Well, that sounds great. Well, I'm glad you have the problem that you are at capacity and you can't raise any more money.
Yeah,
but I guess,
that's a bad problem to have. But
but people still could donate to the cause, right? If you go
Absolutely.
What's the website they can go to?
jdchfoundation.org.
Okay.
I'll go there anytime, and obviously any donation is greatly appreciated.
So why do you think charity is such a big part of your life? I noticed that you're involved in a lot of different causes.
Well, I've been very fortunate. Baseball gives you a platform to help people, and going to visit children in the hospital. I went there with Joe DiMaggio a couple times, and we're visiting kids, and to be able to go in and by virtue of what you do for a living, and obviously I was blessed to be able to play a sport for a living, to affect somebody's life, just give them a smile for a day when they're having a hard time or something like that, it's a great feeling, and I thought it was important to give back.
Was that the catalyst for you when you achieved success, I guess financially, and you started thinking, oh, I'm so lucky, I should give back? Or were you charitably inclined even before that?
No, before that, I mean, you look to your parents and how
Your
they
parents
raised you.
teach you about that?
Absolutely. And, to be involved in the community and give back. And, it always is more satisfying to me when you help somebody else out than helping yourself.
Agreed. And I always tell our listeners, we do a financial show and we talk about creating wealth, and the more you give, the more you get. I really believe that. What are you doing about your kids? Are you trying to teach them the same values, and how are you doing that?
Absolutely. You give them responsibilities and limits on what they can spend, and you try to teach them how to manage their funds as they go throughout their high school. And I got one senior in high school and one in college, and they're on a tight budget, and they've got to manage it throughout the month. And if they run out, then they run out.
Right.
But you got to try to teach them that to budget their money.
Absolutely. I do the same thing with my kids. It's if you just give them everything they need, then they don't really see the value of the dollar. And I also encourage them to, obviously, I think today most kids in school, they're required to do community service just to graduate, which is a good thing. When you were playing baseball and you had to be up at the plate at a big spot, a crucial moment, were you really nervous, or was it something you just got used to?
Yeah, I get asked that question a lot, and I think in the big games, playoffs, World Series, All-Star games, whatever, I think that first at bat is a little nerve-wracking. You get up there, but once you're into the flow of the game, you're taught and you've been conditioned as a Major League Baseball player to tune out the crowd and the situation, and you got to focus on the task at hand. And I think guys that have had the most success are the best at doing that.
So I read that you were drafted in the 58th round. How many rounds are there in the draft?
Nowadays, there's only 50.
Okay.
Actually, I think there's only 40 now. Back then, they went as long as people were there to draft. And when I got the call that I was drafted in the 58th round, I almost dropped the phone. I didn't know they went that high. But
were you excited, or were you disappointed, or?
No. I was a pitcher in college,
right.
So I didn't hit. So I was drafted as a position player. So even to be drafted was something exciting and unknown, and I didn't even know it was kind of an experiment, and it worked out pretty well.
So then you're in the minor leagues, and then you have to try to work your way up and make a name for yourself. And
yeah, I mean, people, I think when they see players sign, professional contracts, I think it's all gravy from there on out. Well, only 5% of those that are drafted ever make it to the major leagues, even for a day. And the minor leagues is no cup of tea. I mean, you're riding buses, you're playing in not very nice ballparks, you're staying at not very nice hotels, and it's a struggle. And a lot of guys, that's all they know. So they hang on for a long time trying to make it to the big leagues and realize that dream, but most don't.
Was that your first job, playing baseball?
Oh, no. I worked jobs during the summers when I was growing up, and my dad worked at a company that set up trade shows, big trade shows in L.A., so I worked there during the summers.
Okay.
And he had a friend who was a butcher. I worked at a butcher shop
one
summer. And
would you cut meat?
No, they wouldn't let me do that. I made sausage, though, which is kind of gross.
You've made sausage?
Yeah.
Okay. Very few people probably can say they've made sausage.
Yeah.
It's something you didn't know. I mean, we've heard about the triathlon. We heard about the racquetball, but most people probably didn't know you made sausage.
Yeah,
so.
And I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, okay.
Haven't touched it since.
So tell me about the nickname, Mr. Marlin. Is that a nickname or a title?
I guess it's both now.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the original team, and I was there for the first World Series, and one of the few guys that been around the organization basically for every major milestone. And it was the fans started calling me that.
Really?
I'd go to a card show or I'd see fans at the ballpark, and I think I was identifiable because I was there at the beginning and stayed around the longest. So they started calling me Mr. Marlin.
All right. Well, Jeff, I want to thank you for coming in and talking to us about this amazing charity, Joe DiMaggio's Children's Hospital. They help so many kids. If you want to try to make a difference, one of the best, most fulfilling is to help kids in need and their families. And Jeff, thank you so much for all you've done. And our listeners, again, if you want to donate, the website is jdchfoundation.org. Thanks a lot, Jeff, for coming in. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.